Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here in the Bluegrass Hall, Kentucky Speedway. And no better person to have lead us off this morning than the driver who won the first NASCAR Sprint Cup Series race here at Kentucky Speedway. And I remember it well. Kyle Busch rode into victory lane that night, and he's back here with us today. He's driving the number 18 M&M's Crispy Toyota. Right here we have some of those. These are excellent. If you haven't had them, they really are excellent.
Breakfast dessert.
That's right. Fred, you'll get mine here in a second, but they are excellent. And so, Kyle, before I get into the driving and strategy aspect of this weekend, I'm hearing that M&M's had you and your crew chief, Adam Stevens, recreating scenes from Days of Thunder. Now, I've known you for quite a while, Kyle. Are you saying maybe that, you're looking, once you get done driving, you could have a career in Hollywood?
I could. Sure. I think anybody could probably. Some people have said the acting was funny. Other people have said it was really bad. So, I don't know. I think some actors, you could say that some of their movies are really bad. But all in all, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time being able to reenact a few scenes from that movie, along with my wife. She was in it as well too. So I really appreciate M&M's doing that and allowing us to have a little bit of fun. That was actually during the off season and was supposed to release earlier this year, but obviously with my injuries and everything, we kind of postponed it a little bit. But great summer classic from 25 years ago, Days of Thunder was, and to have Days of Thunder and M&M's Crispy, riding out there on that crispy edge, it was. It's pretty cool every weekend to have that opportunity. So we appreciate M&M's doing that. If folks haven't gotten a chance to see it, they can go to youtube.com/MMS Chocolate and see it there on M&M's Chocolate YouTube page. So pretty cool.
Outstanding. Now let's shift our attention to the event here this weekend. Certainly, I've always heard you say that this racetrack is one that you like to get around on. You've had success here. Talk about the rules package change that we'll have. How you think that will fit into your driving style, and what your outlook is for today and then tomorrow night.
Well, this place is it's a little treacherous and kind of tricky. It's certainly got some aspects to it that you don't typically see at some of these racetracks we get to go to. So being very bumpy is probably, number one on the list. And then, being wet while still racing out there is another one. It seems like this place just has some really bad weepers that are really hard to get rid of. So, last night during the truck race, I seen, the front stretch got really wet, as the race kind of progressed and went on. So, that's never any fun to have to dodge other spots out there on the racetrack, let alone having to get around competitors. But it's kind of what we're going to have here. There's no way around it if we want to get this race in this weekend. I mean, the only way for this place to dry out is to not have rain for a week, but I don't think that's going to happen. You'll probably see it here again in about another hour. But, it's a tough racetrack, and it's a challenge for many drivers. But to me, I look forward to that challenge. It just makes that aspect a little tougher on everybody, but maybe a little easier for those better drivers to run up front.
Take a few questions for Kyle. If you have one, raise your hand. Questions for Kyle. Let's start over here with John, then we'll go to Stan, and then Gary.
Thanks. John Oreovitz, ESPN.com. Kyle, the racing at Daytona and Talladega and the plate races, some people think it's too close, yet here at Kentucky, NASCAR is taking steps to make the racing closer. From your perspective, how difficult is it for NASCAR to, quote-unquote, get it right every weekend?
It's hugely difficult. You can have it perfectly right and put on a good race and a great finish one time at a particular racetrack and go back there with the exact same rules package, and somebody hits on it and they check out and it's boring. So there's no rhyme or reason as to being able to make it perfect every single time. I mean, I think a lot of fans out there respect the sport for what it was and what it's become, and the finishes that we do have. And there's some fans out there that want to see us 8 wide across the start-finish line every single week for the win. That's just not practicality, and that's not going to happen. And even if that situation did arise, you're going to get it like you did last week at Daytona. We're going to try it. I mean, we couldn't be 8 wide because the track's not wide enough. You got to stay above the yellow line, but it was 3 wide and it was 8 rows deep and it was a mess. So that's just not safe, obviously for the fans or the competitors. But there's a way to put on good racing, and for those that respect racing for what it is, they'll see good racing, in their own mind.
Let's go to Stan, then we'll go to Gary Graves, and then Fred.
Stan Creekmore with RPMtonight.com. Kyle, this practice session that you're about to have, you're going to be testing a ton of stuff. Are they going to be all short runs, and is this going to be one of the most intense practices in your entire career?
I'll start first. I think that hopefully we do practice. If we do practice, it's going to be particularly short run stuff. We're just going to make 3, 4, 5 laps here or there just to kind of get a feel for whatever things we're trying at that particular moment, and then we'll continue to work on it as we go. As far as it being one of the most difficult practice sessions, no, I don't think so. I think, we're all wanting a step in this direction, and I think it's. I wish we would have had some practice time already this weekend so I can give you a basis of what we know. But what we expect is it's going to be a little slicker. It's not going to be as much grip as certainly what we've been used to this year, which is good because we feel like we've had too much grip this year. It's a step in a direction with less downforce that the drivers have been asking for, but it's only a step to 2011. So it's going to be real similar to what we ran here when I won the first race here. So I don't particularly think it's going to be that big of a deal. It would be way bigger of a deal if we were looking at the downforce level of back in the early 2000s.
Let's go to Gary Graves and then to Fred.
Gary Graves, Associated Press. What was your initial reaction with the rules package change here, and how much different did you anticipate that being from what you succeeded with here?
Yeah, my initial reaction to the rules package was I was shocked that NASCAR decided to do something in the middle part of the season, which is fine, but and then to give us an opportunity to try to come here and test, or have a test day, a few hours extra practice, that was really good too, and that was going to be beneficial to these teams, but we didn't get it. I'm optimistic for it. I hope that it does produce the racing that us drivers are hoping that it does. We certainly have really been just trying to push lower speeds through the corners. That's really what we've been doing. At some of these places that you go to, like Vegas, I wasn't there, but I mean, the guys were running around there not even getting all the way out of the throttle, and they were just flying. And, man, the thing that you worry about is any sort of failure, a right front failure or a suspension part or something like that, and you are going to careen that wall harder than you ever want to. And so that's the thing that us drivers are concerned for, is just trying to make sure that I don't think that we're as safe as possible. I don't think that you'll see any difference in a race. You might even see a better race from us averaging, let's say, 195 miles an hour versus us averaging 185 miles an hour. I think you'll see a better race.
Let's go to Fred, then we'll go to the gentleman there. Let's get Fred first, right up front, Bonnie, I'm sorry. Then we'll get to the gentleman there.
Hi, Kyle.
And then we'll go to Mark.
Fred with the CBS affiliate in Louisville. 2 questions. Does this package put the car back in the driver's hands more? Mm-hmm. And also just your health right now, how much has it affected? I know you won a couple weeks ago. In a day in and day out basis, how has your recovery affected the way you drive, if at all? And are there any lingering side effects that you're still sort of dealing with?
So yeah, this package here is certainly going to it's going to bring the better drivers and the better cars to the forefront. That's part of also what we've kind of been looking for. I think you devalue the sport as well as the drivers when you get all the cars so equal and on top of each other that anybody can do it. That's not at all what the sport was built off of. You know, it's always been built off of the heroes of the sport. So let's keep it that way and allow those better drivers to excel. You know, you're always going to have separation. So you know, you've got to maintain that. And it would certainly be nice week after week you see different winners, but I don't know that it's practical to get those lower tier teams to win as often as you will see the bigger tier teams do. So, and as far as health goes, you know, this rule package would have nothing to do with my health. But week to week, you know, driving Xfinity or driving in the Sprint Cup Series for me, I feel pretty good. Out there behind the wheel in the car, I feel really good, and I don't feel any issues there. It's just, you know, getting up, walking around, walking still kind of hurts a little bit, but it's not terrible. It's definitely tolerable, and each day it continually gets a little bit better here and there. Definitely there's some bad days, and definitely there's some good days. So still got to continue some therapy stuff and keep trying to get it better yet. And you know, I seen the doctor last week and said, you know, what can we do, man? I got to fix this left foot stuff. And he goes, get the plates out. I said, all right, let's go. He goes, you want to sit out for 4 more weeks? We'll do it. So, you know, I got to wait till the season's over in order to get my stuff finished up and all the plates taken out.
Go ahead, sir.
Ken Spencer, WHAS 11 in Louisville. Kyle, just with the limited amount of practice time, I mean, you guys may just get one practice, and that may be it. I mean, today may be a big washout in the rules package change. Mm-hmm. How much will the start of this race tomorrow night just be an absolute mystery to everybody?
Yeah, there's a couple guys I was talking to in the garage area yesterday. We were like, are we all going to drive off into the corner and just, you know, slide out, or you know, is it going to stick? What's going to be the feeling? And I was like, I have no idea. But you know, we definitely would like to get some practice time, but if it all comes down to it where they line us up and we race, you know, it might be the best race of the year just because of that. You know, I'll tell you what, man, I thought the truck race last night was phenomenal. I thought it was a really good race to watch. I thought those guys were out of control, sideways, you know, hanging on, trying to work on it, make their stuff better. And, you know, you never want to look like that or be like that as the driver, but as the fan watching it, it was actually pretty cool to see. So, you know, fun race to watch last night, but we'll see if that happens for us.
Let's go to Mark Garrow here in the red shirt, and then to Nate Ryan, and that might wind us up as he has to get ready for practice.
Before I get to my Mark Garrow, PRN, Kyle, just real quick, just to follow up on you were talking about your leg and different things. Mm-hmm. Percentagely, how far back do you think you are? Are you at 80%, 90%? How would you gauge that?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm inside the race car, I feel like I'm 100%. You know, I feel like I'm fine for the things that I got to do and everything, and the abilities that I have to be able to drive a car. I feel like I'm 100%. But walking around here, I mean, I can't. They haven't improved me to go running yet. You know, so if you say me being able to go for a run is 100%, I'm probably 85.
So my other question is about this Days of Thunder video. What was the most fun scene that you did? Because I mean, you've seen, we've all grown up with the movie. We made fun of the movie. We watched it 100 times. So what was the most fun part of it, or the favorite scene? There
was a lot of them that were really fun. A few of them didn't make it. You know, that we did the scene where you know, like I come in and I'm kind of checking out the car and I'm looking at it, and you know, the crew chief says, "You ever driven a stock car before?" You know, we talk about, yeah, I've seen it on TV, you know, or whatever, something like that. You know, so. We did that scene, and then we also did the end of the movie scene where, you know, Cole wins, and then after the race he sits with the crew chief on the wall, and then they run down pit road to victory lane, you know. So we did that scene too. So a couple of my favorite scenes actually probably didn't even make the video, but the one that's my favorite that's probably in the video was doing the go out and hit the pace car one. That was really funny. They only in the outtakes they only showed me laughing once. It took us like 12 times to get through that. I mean, it was pretty funny.
Let's finish up with Nate Ryan.
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. Kyle, going back to you watching the truck race, the Ben Kennedy crash at the end, what was your reaction to seeing that? Because I know the circumstances are completely different, but 2 vehicles in the catch fence in 4 days, I'm sure a lot of people will be talking about that. What was your reaction to seeing that?
Yeah, you know, it seemed like it was just, and that's a tough angle for the spotters, but the 23 wreck, he probably could have given a little bit more room to those guys on the outside. But he's also trying to get a good arc getting into the corner, so that was just racing there. But the incident you're talking about with Kennedy, I think he said, the spotter told him clear, and he was kind of wanting to get up to get a good arc getting in the corner, but he wasn't clear, so that's tough, that certainly sucks for him and their team and tearing up stuff. But as far as the catch fence and everything, I mean, I'm glad they're there. I'm glad they're obviously doing their job. They're keeping the racetrack or race cars or trucks on the racetrack, and so it's a dangerous sport. We live it every day. Sometimes we take it for granted because of all the safety advancements we've gotten over the years that we feel invincible. But there's certainly rare opportune times that you can put yourself in a situation to get hurt. And we saw it in Daytona with myself. We saw it in Daytona again with Austin Dillon, and we probably saw it again last night, among other times. But those times just seem to be the most severe or most scary crashes we've seen.
Kyle, thank you very much. Can't wait to watch the video.
You haven't already?
No, I haven't watched it yet, Kyle. But good luck this weekend.
Thanks.
Thank you. Fred.